Hello everyone, how are you doing? So today we are going to be making this dress. Okay, so the first thing I did was get my pattern paper where I'm going to draft out a basic bodice. Okay, so the first thing you do is draw a straight line, okay, so that all your lines are equal to the end. Then I'm going to place my tape from the beginning of the line and then mark out my bust point, which is 10. From your bust point you are going to mark out your under bust, which is 14. Then for my under bust I mark at 17, which is my waist, then 25, which is my hip. Okay, and then I'm going to extend those lines so that I can place my horizontal measurements. Okay, so bust, under bust, and then waist, hip. Okay, good. The next thing is you're going to mark out your shoulder. So I'm using 7.5 inches for my shoulder, and then I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slant and measure out my armhole, which is 7. Then half of 7 is 3.5. That is where I made that mark and I went in by half an inch. Okay, then on the line, on the armhole line, I place my round bust measurement divided by 4. On my waistline I place my round waist measurement divided by 4, and then my hip line, my round hip divided by 4. Then I'm going to draw out the shoulder slant. As you can see, I used my French curve to do the armhole. You can use your free hand. Okay, and this is just like the normal bodice. Okay, when you're drawing out your normal bodice. Then on the bust line I'm going to put my bust point to bust point. So my bust point to bust point is 7. When you fold it into 2, it's 3.5. So that's what I just marked out on the waistline, on the bust, and okay, yeah, here I'm putting in my dart, which is half an inch inwards and half an inch outwards. Guys, this is just the normal bodice. Okay, and then I'm going to draw out my daft my, what is it called, my dart. Oh my god, I said daft. I'm drawing out my dart. Then I'm extending the dart downwards to 4 inches above my hip line. So you see, that's just what I did, just like when you're making the normal bodice. Yeah, that is just it. Then I'm going to put my round measurement and just put in the curve. You see, that's waist to hip curve. And then I'm putting in my neckline. I'm just going to make a simple round neck, as you can see. And here I just cut off the pattern paper so that I can use just one side of the pattern paper and not waste all of my pattern paper. Yeah, so from the hip I'm just drawing a straight line. That's like when you are drawing a kaftan. Okay, that's what I did. Yeah, and then my neckline, I'm drawing it out. Like I said, it's just a simple round neck. The depth is 4 inches. So I'm going to divide it because I on the line of my waist, so that I can have my top bodice and the lower bodice. So here I'm just adding a side dart. I just removed 1 inch from the bust line. So this is where the main thing is. Okay, you see this dart, right? You are going to cut it out, you see, and that is where you are going to add one of the white fabric, that white addition. That is where you are going to add it. So normally when you're making a normal simple kaftan, this is what you are going to do. You're going to just stitch it out, right? Except for this one, you're going to cut it out, you see, and then you're going to add that white thing, that white fabric. So for the black fabric I used 2.5 yards, although I would advise you to get 3 yards because I had to manage this 2.5 yard. So the 2.5 yard, as you can see, for the black, I'm just placing my top bodice and I'm going to cut it off. Here I'm just cutting off the front pattern, and you see what I'm doing, right? I added like 1 inch on the side and half an inch the down part, because I did not add sewing allowance to the pattern paper, so I had to put it in on the fabric. So you see, that's the front, and then I'm going to cut the back. I'm just going to use the front to cut the back. I just added 1 inch. That is my niece disturbing me, so I just added 1 inch for zipper allowance, and I'm just going to cut. You see, so that we have our front and our back, and I'm just cutting off 1 inch from the back and then half an inch from the inside. The reason why I cut 1 inch from the back is because the back is shorter than the front. My front shoulder to waist is 17, but my back shoulder to waist is 16. Okay, yeah. So here I'm just going to use the pattern for the look. My niece is praying. Yeah, so I'm just going to put in the pattern for the lower part of the dress, you see, and I'm just measuring the length I want my dress to have, and I used from 17 inches, that's from the waist down to the end of the tip rule, and I just took out the pattern and I added 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, you see, and then I'm taking out the dart first. You see, you take out that's that 1 inch dart, then you cut a straight line down. So you see that is your front pattern. Can you see? And I'm going to cut at the back pattern. You're going to add, it's the same thing, you're just going to add 1 inch for sewing allowance at the back, and that's it's very simple to make. And that's what I have done. Please make sure to subscribe, okay, and like, comment. If you have any question, please just put it there, and then I'm going to explain more. Then for this white fabric, I use 4 yards of this white fabric. I use crepe fabric for both the white, although the black one is a little bit thicker than the white, and it's better like that because if not, the dress will be very, very heavy. So this is what you are just going to do. I'm going to cut it on the bias. Can you see? You get your fabric and you just fold it on the bias, and that is just it. That is just what I did. There's I just measured the length. Just fold it on the bias like I did, and then I'm placing my measurement, you see, from my waist, because that's where I want it to be, from the waist down to the end of the tip. Can you see? And then I'm going to cut it round. I'm going to separate this side. Yeah, good. You see, so we have 2. I'm going to make 6 of this for the 2 darts on the front, the 2 darts at the back, and for joining the sides, the 2 sides that you are going to join, right? So that is what I just did, and I used up most of the 4 yards of fabric that I had. It's a bit of a long process, but I guess it's easy to make, and you're going to stitch till you get tired of stitching. God, I was so tired. So you have 2, 2, 2, that is 6, right? And then here I'm just going to draw a sleeve. I wasn't really sure what type of sleeve I was going to cut. I just did a basic sleeve. You see, black. I wanted to just make it black, like the top should be all black, right? But then at the end I decided to add a little ruffle at the end of the sleeve. So this is just a normal sleeve, okay, as you can see. Then I got another fabric for my lining to line. So for the lining, this is the lower part of the line. I just made a round flare, like 180-degree flare for the round. Here I measured it. It was not up to what I wanted, and I increased it by half an inch. So it's just a flare that I made for the down part. So I did not cut it the same way like the outer part of the dress, okay? That one you're just going to waste your fabric. Just cut a round flare. That's what will give it that puffiness. If you're not on my TikTok, make sure you go and check it. Like, you see how I wore the dress. It looks so beautiful. It looks so full, okay? That's how you're going to get that fullness when you make a flare for it as the lining. It will make it very, very full. So here it is. This is where you're going to add the white fabric. You see here, that's what I'm showing you. See, when you are joining each part, you add a white fabric. So this is the first one that I did. Can you see? Even though I made a mistake, because you see I added that white fabric at the beginning, and the right way to do it is by leaving 1 inch, okay, for sewing allowance. I'll show you what I mean later on the video. I just want to say it so that you don't make a mistake. So you see, this is where I made the mistake, because I added the white fabric right from the beginning. Can you see? But you see here, I left 1 inch before adding the white fabric. So when you stitch it, it's going to look neat. If you stitch it the way I did it on the first one, it's going to look cut off, like the white fabric will look cut off. But if you do it this way, we are going to stitch it and it will come out neatly the way it's supposed to look like. I hope you understand what I'm saying, guys, but I'm just showing you. So you are going to do that for all the pieces. You see, I've done it with 2 pieces, then the rest. This is what you are going to have by the time you add it round everywhere. You add all the white fabric where it's supposed to be, then you are going to attach this lower part to the bodice, and this is what you are going to have. Bye.